Or
Yeah.
dude is just unhinged and doing whatever the fuck he wants to.
A few people are even losing money on shorts right now. I don't know how you do that, but
Look, I know those guys are mopped up, so like I might be dead next week. So if that's the case, then it was nice knowing you.
But what we can beat up, is Cardano.
You might lose your money, but you'll lose your money on the real thing.
GM, and welcome to another episode of Sol Brothers with Eno and myself, where it is our job to throw you into the Solana rabbit hole and show you around in our exciting ecosystem.
Our mission is to show you the latest and greatest that's going around on Solana so that you never run out of fun things to talk about. Simon, this week doesn't feel that fun.
This week feels painful. I mean, it depends on what side you're on, right? In the past 24 hours, now it's a bit longer than that, we've seen more than $2 billion wiped out in liquidations from the crypto market. And when I say crypto market, I mean throughout all assets, not only Bitcoin. And that's a lot. That's a lot of money. $2 billion wiped out in liquidation. It's just gone. The money's gone, right? It's from one pocket gone into another pocket. So that is a lot. I think the last time we saw so many liquidations was never really. I read some posts that even during FTX times, when we saw a lot of liquidations, we didn't see so many in such a short period of time. I think this is just a signal for how hyped up the market right now is. Everything is just at the top. And the world is a bit crazy. So I think we have a lot to cover in today's episode for the Sol Brothers. This includes definitely to talk a little bit about crisis, talk a little bit about what's going on and why do we see such a retrace. As long as we can explain it, there's always some factors that we can't really account for. Markets are irrational, but there is some reasons why we see that pullback, obviously. So we're going to cover these. But I think we have some other stuff to talk about, as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of drama and FUD on the timeline. There's also events around the world, where Solana builders are gathering. And also a couple of launches that we'd love to talk about. So it's going to be a full episode as usual.
As per usual. First of all, let me pull up the Solana chart. I think that's always a good way to start the new fresh episode this week. Right now we're recording on the 3rd of February and we're looking at the daily chart right now of the Solana. We're trading at $193 right now at Solana. We actually crossed the $200 mark, which was something that a lot of people didn't see coming. I've seen a lot of people talking about, we'll never see prices below $200 again. That was something that has been said on crypto Twitter in the past, kind of weeks, because we saw a lot of upside. Solana reached almost $300 during the maniac that happened, the crazy period that happened when Trump launched his meme coin. So yeah, $300 on Solana is a lot, but we also saw a sharp decline now. So yeah, we did cross the all-time highs, but now we're back below $200. The Solana chart still looks bullish overall if you zoom out on the weekly or the daily chart. But the recent retrace that we've seen in the past, let's say 48 hours, is definitely something that we didn't really account for amongst many traders. If we look a little bit on the analysis side of things, broadly speaking, it is playing out as some people saw. I think the amount of retrace is just higher than anticipated. So I think I remember last time we talked, which was a week ago, it was around the time when we were trading in this triangle pattern up here in $220, $230-ish. And we were waiting for some confirmation. Is there going to be an upside breakout or a downside breakout? I already told people last time we talked, I remember it pretty vividly, that we're going to see this downside movement. And it already started last week, if I remember correctly. So 1 week ago, end of January, we already broke the downside part of this triangle pattern. And we broke to like $220-ish. And I was seeing another pullback coming. At least that was my main thesis back then as well. But I didn't see a retrace that goes to now $175. We saw that last night, Asia time zone, $175. And now, yeah, we're in this deep red right now, and Twitter is full of people that talk about liquidations and red candles and what is this? Is the bear market here? Yes or no? Let's make some sense of that. Does this trigger you at all? Are you worried about crypto markets right now? Do you still feel comfy in this environment, or is it getting through your skin as well?
It's funny because last week you said that a bit of a retrace is healthy. I don't know how healthy we are the current state of the market. I just feel there's a lot of fear over what the the Trump presidency is going to do, not just to like crypto is just one market. I mean, there are global markets to take into consideration as well. Like
Yeah.
obviously, I think the crypto markets follow the larger macro trends. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not feeling very bullish, Simon. This is not the golden era that I thought it would be. And like, here's the thing: is like politically, I think Trump's an asshole. But at the very least, I was like, but we'll be rich, right?
You don't need to love the politics that this man is doing, but at least a lot of traders, a lot of people that work heavily in capital markets and business sector, they said, it's good for us. At least we want
Yeah,
to make some rich. But it always comes at a price, right?
yeah,
Because he has to do certain things to achieve market growth, and I think these strings are being pulled right now. And one thing that I want to highlight is, and we can also take a quick look at that here. The analysts are talking about the so-called bear trap. The bear trap usually occurs in an upside market, in a bullish market, and it's nothing that we haven't seen before. So usually how that plays out is that there's an initial momentum that's building up. That was what we've seen in the past months, literally. So big momentum building up, exponential curves on the charts, and in first sentiment extreme is what they call it on the charts when you look into how bear trap usually plays out. And this first sentiment extreme is sometimes interpreted as the new bull market high. And then when the retrace happens, which is the bear trap, it's an aggressive retrace that goes, further down than everyone anticipated, and it wipes out people, it wipes out traders. And usually this can be literally market manipulation. It can be, a group of whales sitting in their Telegram chat, pulling some strings. And when I say whales, I mean big whales, the market makers, the OTC dealers, people that have deep pockets in these assets. And they want this. They want to wipe out people. They want to clear out the market and then open their longs again in a lower position to make money when we actually go into the new all-time highs that could potentially occur. So I think my thesis is to agree with that. And I think we are in this, I don't know if we need to call it a bear trap or not, but we are in this aggressive retrace right now where a lot of people are being wiped out. That's fact. We've seen the data on it. We can actually pull that up as well. So 2 billion crypto liquidations. Right now we're at 2.26 billion in the 24 hours that we saw. So right now we're looking at the chart that shows us the liquidation heat map. So how much money has been wiped out throughout various assets. 7 million in ETH, 6.7 million in BTC, Doge, others XRP, 800K, 880K in Solana. So there was definitely wipeouts. Obviously, throughout all the major exchanges, they all saw huge longs being liquidated. A few people are even losing money on shorts right now. I don't know how you do that, but those are, I would say, those are the more, the people who try to catch the knife when it's falling, right, and just
yeah.
go in short. They enter lower. You can do that actually. Like it's there's no right or wrong, but you really need to watch the chart when you do that, because right now volatility is super high, and it's not a market where you should gamble in my opinion. We see markets where it's less volatility for crypto, where it's easier to open positions. Right now, you can get wrecked within 2 minutes by a wick of a candle, right? So overall, just dangerous markets. But to your question, should it worry us? I don't think so. We've seen this before so many times, and every
Yeah.
time it happens again, we're like, oh wow, what's happening? This is first time in history. I mean, sure, the amplitude of it is greater than what we've seen before, but there's a few reasons to it.
I don't really think that anyone's winning in this market, but as you pointed out earlier, the guys who are losing money on shorts in this market, it's like, oh, that's gotta hurt, bro.
It definitely hurts. Yeah.
It was over 300 million, worth of
Yeah.
shorts
Yeah.
liquidated. I was just like, oh, I mean, obviously the vast majority of that is going to be longs, but it's still funny to me. So sorry if you got liquidated on a short, but as Simon said, don't try to catch a fallen knife.
But I think people are desperately trying to understand why prices are falling so much. So, okay, bear trap. Okay, that makes sense. That's just a phenomenon that we see in crypto over and over happening again. It can be market manipulation, but there must be more to it. And there are a few reasons that we can touch on in terms of zooming out, macro perspective, what happened macroeconomically right now that plays into these cards. I think something that might trigger these sell-offs, could be the following. We're looking at an article right now from the BBC that says Asian markets tumble as Trump's tariff war escalates. Have you been following what Trump's policy on tariffs is,
Oh yeah, no, he's been talking about tariffs at the rallies leading up into the election for years now. So this is like anybody who's been paying even a little bit of attention to his political campaign. I love this idea of he's going to release an external revenue service. We have the internal revenue service where we tax hardworking Americans, and so we need to tax the Chinese. We need to tax the Canadians. We need to tax the Mexicans. And the organization that's going to be responsible for this is called the External Revenue Service, the ERS. And I just think it's really funny because like tariffs are like the only person who really loses here is the consumer. Like if I'm a business and I'm getting charged another 25% to get my goods into the United States, or like even or conversely, like if you're a business in the United States buying foreign goods and you're paying an extra 25% for that, then like who am I going to pass that cost on to? You know, it's going to be the consumer. I'm not just going to eat 25% of my profit. Fuck that. You know.
Yeah, yeah. So Trump has said that the tariffs are necessary to halt the flow of illegal drugs and immigration into the U.S. How pro-U.S. can you be, right? I think he's just trying to be pro-American as fuck, and everyone else has to pay for it, and that's his policy, right? That's what people voted him into office for. So can't really blame him for that. And he's been talking about these things for a long time, and he also said several times that first day of office, I will sign agreements that will make a change. And he actually did that. Canada and Mexico are facing tariffs of 25% on their exports to the US. Chinese-made goods will face a 10% duty in addition to existing tariffs. And then obviously following the news, Hong Kong's Hang Seng index was down 0.4%, and all the other Asian indexes as well were down 2.6%, 2.5%. So Asia markets, that happened basically last night when Asia opened. There was US night, and yeah, we saw the big red candles as well. And then into this whole mix comes that the markets in mainland China are actually closed for the Lunar New Year holiday. So some people in the US or in the Western Hemisphere, they don't really know right now that there's the biggest. Is it the biggest celebration of the year? I think it's one of the biggest ones in Asia. I think you might know more about that, but the Lunar New Year is a big thing, right? The banks are closed,
Yeah.
people are on holidays. So
Yeah.
I think we're yet to see traders return to their desks really
Yeah.
in the Asian hemisphere, and then also U.S. markets are still about to open. Now it's Monday afternoon in Asia. It is Monday morning in Europe, and it's still early Monday in U.S. Markets have not opened yet, so we're still early, and we're yet to see what's going to happen once U.S. market opens. And I think that also plays into the current retrace, because here's what's happening: people are afraid and scared that once U.S. opens, they will just all sell because they're scared, and that will crash the market. And the anticipation of that event is what is being priced in right now. So what I think is we see the biggest retraces right now, and once US opens, we might see a bit more, but I don't think there's much more to come. Obviously, take this with a grain of salt, because I have no fucking idea what's going to happen, but that's at least my short-term outlook for this. But yeah, this whole tariff thing is most likely one of the catalysts right now driving the prices low.
Have you seen the price of Trump, by the way?
It did quite well. I think it dumped.
What are you talking about?
It dumped a lot, but no. Here's the thing: it pumped while everything else was dumping. So let's check it out.
No. It mega dumped again this morning. It's like close to like $17 now.
Yeah. Okay. But there was a candle here. Okay, it was not really a pump actually, but I saw it on Twitter where people were like, "Oh, hey, everything is dumping and Trump is pumping." I think there was just the event from 18 billion to 22 billion. There was not really a pump.
Yeah.
And now we're back. So yeah, the Trump chart right now is pretty bearish. I think people they just don't know what the fuck this coin is and where the value should come from in future. That's traditional meme coin problem that happens. You can't really paint the future picture. People are losing faith in it, and they're jumping on the next big thing. But I have to say, we can't really blame this token for going down, because if you look at my trading view on the right side of the screen, what I'm sharing right now, everything is in deep red.
That's where I beg to differ a little bit. If the dumb motherfuckers over at World Liberty Financial, and look, I know those guys are mobbed up, so like I might be dead next week. So if that's the case, then it was nice knowing you. But if those dumb motherfuckers didn't release Melania, I think we would be in a very different market. I know everyone says the same thing. I agree with this very strongly. Now, don't get me wrong. A trade war is always going to fuck up your prices for everything in the world. But I think that we have much more faith that like Trump is like the pro crypto president. If he hadn't released such an obvious grift immediately within 24 hours, and they fucked themselves because they could have made way more money if they had just stuck to the one token. Like that just it's sad because now nobody has confidence in the Trump token at all. It's like everyone already knew that they were extractive just because of how much of the supply that they owned. But yeah, having two tokens was and releasing them back to back was just it totally kills any desire for any reasonable person to buy that. Nobody wants to be exit liquidity.
Yeah. Of course not. Yeah, and I think they just stretched it a bit too far, right, with the whole thing. I think one other thing that is being talked about right now in crypto Twitter when it comes to the Trump policy is that he's right now trying to artificially pump the dollar to lock in foreign trade deals at a high USD value. And once the trades are signed, he'll rug them. I'm quoting right now a post from Altcoin Psycho. He'll rug them by dumping USD to clear the way for more quantitative easing and rate cuts. He's been talking about these things for a long time. He said that he will come with tariffs, and he said that he will also push the Fed to do further rate cuts. So, and if the Fed wants that or not, I think the president wants it. So Psycho also says Trump has literally signaled his intention to weaken the dollar before the election even started. I'm not painting him as a genius, and I don't want to agree with the terrorists, but I reiterate my thesis that his ego won't let him have an underperforming stock market. Keep that in mind, guys. It will not have it. So we're also quoting someone that says Trump would never try to force Powell's hand to lower interest rates. He would never risk all of this just for the sake of lower rates. But then, are you sure about that? I think he is doing it right now. Like that's his roadmap. He's trying to demand lower rates as fast as possible.
The line between ego and strategy for Trump is like, it's always a mystery to me. I can never tell. It's all like, okay, is this part of some larger master plan, right? Where he's asserting American dominance. And so, around year 2 or 3, when he goes to the negotiating table, people go, okay, I can go toe to toe with Trump. Probably a horrible idea. So I'll just capitulate. So this could be a part of like a larger kind of like asserting dominance strategy, right? Or dude is just unhinged and doing whatever the fuck he wants to. and his ego is doing the trading for him,
I mean, there's a fine line, right? Between genius and maniac. And I think some people might call him genius. I think that's a stretch. That's definitely a stretch. But he's impactful. That's what he is. And he pulls the strings when he has to. And that's what we're seeing right now. I think with Trump being the president of the United States, what we see right now is what we need to be prepared for. Volatility, big red candles, big green candles, in both ways. And things that we didn't see for the past 2 years or 4 years when other people were in office. I think that's pretty much it when it comes down to what's happening right now in macro. I think the bottom line here is to, as always, maybe use this as a buying opportunity. I think that's what we can do as traders, as crypto investors, and so on. We should look at the charts right now. We should, not go with high leverage in it because we don't know how long this will stretch, but we might not see lower prices again in the next couple of months. So until then, I think this might be a good buying opportunity. And that's not my opinion. That's what I also read throughout all crypto Twitter right now and other people that are actively trading. They're setting up their Meteor DLMMs to slowly buy in. They're setting up their DCAs right now on Jupiter to get their spot positions up again. And the traders are opening their longs slowly, sub $200, right? I wouldn't open any long that has like a super tight liquidation level right now if you're not really, locked in the charts and prepared to take some losses as well. That's my take to what's happening here.
Well, God bless all of us. We're going to need it. Now that we've talked about markets, we should totally move on to talking about some of the latest developments on Solana. I mean, despite the fact that it's been a bloodbath, we've beaten Ethereum in revenue.
Exactly. There's some news right now being shared that for the first time ever, Solana has beaten Ethereum in monthly revenue. The Solana blockchain, which is, a blockchain, a distributed ledger system that makes revenues from transaction fees and other things. And it's the first time that Solana has beaten Ethereum, the biggest L1 in the cryptosphere so far. And Solana has made around $116 million, 116 in January, compared to Ethereum's 107 million. So yeah, that's almost 100% month-over-month increase for Solana, which is a lot. And December wasn't a bad month for Solana as well. There was a lot of trading happening, AI agents exploded and so on. But January just killed it again. Obviously, the Trump token was one of the reasons for that, but also what's happening right now is again a lot of revenue that's being made on the Solana blockchain. So I think that is bullish for Solana. Not gonna lie. Flipping Ethereum in revenue. And then another thing that I'll pull up here right now is that Solana Floor just reported earlier today that over $1 billion are being bridged from Ethereum to Solana alone in the past month in January. So that's $1 billion from people that they pulled out of the Ethereum ecosystem and put it into the Solana ecosystem. Is that bullish for Solana? I think the answer is yes, because people are prepared to trade either on Solana or hold Solana focused tokens. Whatever they do on our beautiful blockchain here, it will incur more fees, it will incur more revenue, it will help the apps to prosper. So that is, again, another bullish signal for Solana. These news feel quite good, right? Like amongst all the red candles right now.
Yeah, this feels good, but you know what doesn't feel so good is like Pump.Fund made like another like $500 million this month, and like they put it back into Kraken, and I'm just like, guys, just please. Could you leave some of that money, in the ecosystem, or provide liquidity, or secure the network, or anything? Do anything of use. I know, not going to happen.
I want to see a Pump.Fund validator on the Solana blockchain that's being pushed forward and loaded up with Sol staked to secure the network. They have the means for it, and they can make a lot of money by just fucking staking their Sol to their own validator. They could even put some features in their app that makes other people put their money into their validator. There's so much money to be made, but I think they are just net extractive, and we've learned that over the past months. It is what it is. Let's not beat up Pump.Fund further, because we already know what they're about. But what we can beat up, is Cardano. That's just for fun right now, guys. Fun fact: Solana has 23 more TVL than Cardano. Cardano. 506 more stablecoins than Cardano. 506x, right? Multiplied. 948x the 7-day volume of Cardano. And it goes on, and we're looking at a chart right now that looks pretty funny, where you can see Solana versus Cardano, total TVL, and there's a big candle with like a lot of TVL in the billions for Solana, and then Cardano's like non-really existent. And then the others are even more funny because there's not enough data happening even on Cardano to give proper data here. So stablecoin TVL is like nothing on Cardano. There's no 7-day trading volume. And there's just no 30-day data throughput on the Cardano blockchain because Cardano is kind of dead. Not really hating on them, but kind of hating on them to an extent. It's just funny. I don't want to, we all know it, right? Solana is the chain for the consumer. Solana is where stuff is happening right now, and other blockchains, they have a hard time. They have a hard fucking time to compete against this beast. If you want to build a new layer one, do something else with your life, bro. Like, honestly, I think it's too competitive at this point. And the network effects are too crazy that all these gigantic chains have. So, and talking about bullish on Solana, let's talk about some announcements, some launches, some new product features. What's going on Solana that is actually exciting besides price going down?
So, I just want to repeat this, and we've said this over and over and over again on the show. If this is your first time watching on the live stream, don't worry about the fucking price. Don't worry about it. And the reason why you shouldn't worry is because we're focused on the fundamentals, which is building applications that users find very useful, that they want to use, that they want to share. And if you focus on those fundamentals, price is a lagging indicator. It will follow where the innovation is happening, right? And one such innovation is a new feature for the Jupiter mobile app. It's called Magic Scan. It was announced over at Catstanbull, but it's starting to get a lot more traction. They're marketing it much more heavily right now. Have you seen what Magic Scan does, Simon?
Yeah, I have seen it in the announcement here on Twitter. What are we looking at,
Yeah. So it's the first of its kind for a wallet, I believe. You see these types of applications on, like, let's say Siri, right? Or even like Google Lens has technology like this, where usually it's an e-commerce use case where you take a picture of a dress that you liked, and then they run like a ML model on it. And then they'll tell you where the dress came from, or similar dresses that you can find on Google and purchase. So what Magic Scan does, it's not so much the e-commerce angle. It's like how could you most efficiently find the tokens that you want to buy. So whether or not it's a picture of the logo of the token, or whether or not it's a screenshot of your phone, of a Twitter post or anything like that. If you're trying to find the real token, and this is something that Jupiter is very focused on, like if you are looking for the Melania token, Magic Scan will help you find the real Melania token, not the 20 scam tokens that are associated with it. So that's really cool, I think.
I think you know what's the big feature here actually? It's user friendliness, right? Because we
Yeah.
know what a CA is in crypto. It's a contract address, which is a unique identifier for one token that has been launched, and the CA, the contract address, is used in crypto to find the real token that you want to trade. Because usually what happens is that once a big token is launching, a lot of fake tokens emerge that are trying to extract value, which is usually a rug pull. That means people are looking up the token, the name of the token, they find the wrong one, they put money in by believing, oh, this is the new thing that's coming out right now. And then whoever deployed that fake token is just dragging the liquidity out at a certain point when enough people bought into it. And to prevent this, Jupiter is building a few things, a few features, which is first of all the verified by Jup, right? The little verified check mark for the correct contract address. You can get verified by Jup if you're a new token on Solana. That helps. But also this right now, it makes it super easy for normal people that are just trying to trade tokens, making a screenshot of a tweet that you see, putting the screenshot into your Jupiter app, and then getting the right token just extracted from the screenshot. Very easy. You don't even need to know what a contract address is, right? How does the tool work?
Yes.
How does the tool do that? Usually the tool extracts the CA from the tweet or from the Twitter profile you're looking at or whatever you just photographed, right? So I think we need to see that play out more in action. There needs to be some data that needs to be collected, how accurate this actually is. But I think the potential with Magic Scan is big when it comes to driving adoption, driving user friendliness, and that's what the mobile app is basically for.
Actually,
right?
what's really neat is I believe that they're going to be pairing this technology with another feature set that they released at Catstemple called Organic Index. And so, like the three metrics that people usually look at to determine whether or not a token is legitimate or not is TVL, the amount of wallets, and volume, right? But all three of these things can be gamed, right? You can have a single wallet create thousands of wallets, right? And then send dust, right? You could also do things to like peg the price of the token to another token, so it has the appearance of a large TVL, but actually it's quite low. And also for volume, wash trading is a thing, right? So what I think that they're trying to do is combine both data from the organic index, which is they're tagging certain wallets that they know are real users, and seeing what tokens they buy in the aggregate. And so like there is an organic way with real wallets, real users, real activity to determine whether or not a token is legitimate or not. So I think it's even cooler than just, hey, extracting the contract address out. Like data, Jupiter has the most data out of anybody. So they're combining those two things together to deliver to the user, hey, no more scams for you. If you might lose your money, but you'll lose your money on the real thing.
Better than on some rug, right? Better than fund
Yeah, no, it is
some
better.
rugger's
Yeah.
wallet. I mean, you're still losing money, so be careful out there, guys. But I think the point here is just make it just a safer environment for traders, especially for new traders. So yeah, Jup Mobile Magic Scan. If people are not familiar with it yet, you can check it out in the Jupiter mobile app, which is just a fun way to play around. You can buy crypto with Jupiter Mobile. You can buy it easily with credit card using MoonPay, or you can just hold your assets in this wallet and use the Magic Scan function to find new ones and buy the right one, right?
Yeah, so Solana Spaces was a project that used to be run by Vibhu. Vibhu is famously the CEO of Drip. Drip is a collectibles website, a digital collectibles website. It's meant mostly for artists to be able to share either exclusive art or kind of in progress art with their communities. I don't understand the exact mechanisms of Drip because like they you can collect the droplets and then you go into like this virtual temple and then you're eligible to get like legendary art pieces or common art pieces. It kind of feels a little bit like Pokemon, but for art collection. But anyways, what does that have to do with Solana Spaces? Well, before he started working on Drip, Solana Spaces was his baby, and they unfortunately had to shut it down a couple of years ago. It just wasn't getting enough traction, but it was a very, very beloved brand. Their first store was in New York. What you're seeing is footage of that time when the store was open. They had Solana hats, Solana water bottles, Solana fanny packs, Solana socks, Solana Solana everything, right? Like any. I think you might have seen some of the sketches of what the merch used to look like.
I think I've seen a lot of stuff. I've seen bags, underwear, I've seen socks, like a lot of good stuff. I love it.
Yeah.
I own a piece of Solana underwear, and it's my favorite underwear.
Well, I mean, the thing is, they resurrected. So they had a store token, if I'm not mistaken, and then they burned some amount of the store token, which created new interest. And I'm not quite so sure how exactly they raised funds here, whether or not they sold some of the treasury into USDC. But at the end of it all, just in this last week, they were able to raise $608,000, right? And that's more than enough money to reopen the Solana stores and try this experiment again. So I'm so excited for Vibhu and the team. I think everybody would love to see Solana Spaces come back. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe the timing was a little weird. I mean, not their fault.
I mean,
no fault of their own.
Exactly. Yeah, I can relate to this. Like we also launched our protocol token at Solana ID at the day where it was like a global drawdown of liquidity in crypto markets. It's not my fault. Like I didn't see that coming, and we set the date. So, but let's take a look at what's happening with Spaces, because we can see it on the chart. I'm pulling up Bird Eye right now to look at the store token. The CA is in the profile of the Solana Spaces Twitter. You can make a picture with your phone and load it into Jupyter, and then you will get the right one as well with the magic scan. But yeah, on the 31st of January, which is just like 4 days ago, we saw a big green candle. There was the resurrection of Solana Spaces and the store token. And yeah, so it reached an all-time high again, I would say, definitely. And I think the price, what did it make in percentage? It made like a 1,739% within 2 days. So yeah. And they're still up. Solana Space is still up. The store token is still up, but it retraced obviously right now as well. Again, to like less than half of what it reached 2 days ago. A lot of volatility in this token, definitely. No financial advice here to buy into it. And we can't really explain exactly the tokenomics around store. We can do that in a separate post. But it is definitely a cool project because I love the IRL spaces and I love the concept and everything about it. Because look, what is Solana about? Solana is about community. Solana is about the brand. Solana is about having fun and, bringing people together. And what do you need to do that? You need to build a strong brand. And part of that is also merch. And part of that is, being able to show it to the world, right? Because we wear our Nike and Adidas and all that kind of fun stuff because it comes with a certain set of values, right? It comes with a certain set of principles that these brands represent. And they are doing a very good job, like the big fashion brands, at painting a picture of and a narrative of what this brand is about. And if you feel like that vibes with you, then you want to wear that brand and you want to put that logo on your cap. And Solana can do the same thing. And I think Solana Spaces is a great accelerator for this phenomenon of brand recognition. And I would love to shop there. And I'd love to get some more merch because my suitcase is 80% Solana merch, not going to lie.
Yeah. I mean, I just kind of feel like people laugh at me when I say that like Jupiter should have a clothing brand or like Sanctum should have a clothing brand or Solid should have a clothing brand. But I actually do think that Solana, you need like clothing has mimetic power, right? It has real power. And something very powerful about like, let's say you go to a conference and like, fuck just the conference merch. Like if you create like an actual brand with like different SKUs and different articles of clothing, like there's nothing more powerful than going into a conference and seeing like a sea of people wearing your shit, right? Because like you said, it expresses their support. It expresses what they believe in. And so, yeah, I actually think that more brands should do it. And I'm surprised that they don't try to leverage that.
Yep. I think we're going to see more of that. We're going to walk the talk as well at Solana ID. We have a merch store actually that's being built right now for merchandise. And you can gate it, by a few product features of your own project, like holders of certain NFTs, holders of a lot of your tokens. They might get access to special merch that only they can buy and wear. which is pretty cool. So I think we can leverage this as well, as company builders here in crypto. Anyway, before we go to the next topic, guys, for everyone who's in the stream right now, we're streaming live on the Sol Brothers account. Make sure if you watch this to also follow our account, please, because we're building up a social media empire here. So follow the Sol Brothers on X, guys. Follow also Sol Brothers Pod on YouTube to make sure that you don't miss any episodes. And if you're in here right now on the live stream, help us to get a bit more visibility by liking, retweeting, and commenting the shit out of this space right now. So thank you guys for being part of this. And with that being said, let's move on to the next part, because we have one more product feature, one more thing that has been shipped in the Solana ecosystem, which is coming out of the Drift account. What are we looking at, Eno?
So essentially, Send AI is obviously run by our very good friends Yash as well as Irfan. I think there's a lot of folks in the Super Team India community who have been working on this on Send AI. But one of the coolest things to come out of not only the AI hackathon, but just in general is being able to open and close DeFi positions using simple semantic language connected to different applications or platforms. And so in this case, you could send a command over to the Send AI agent, and it'll open and close positions for you on Drift. And that's very, very cool. I like that. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
I think it's bullish because we want to have agents interacting with apps on Solana. And we've been talking about this a lot because agent meme coins are cool, but they don't really do anything. We need autonomous AI agents that actually do shit on chain. They have crypto wallets, they can interact with applications, and I think trading is a big one because if you are building an agent that has the mission to be a good trader with positive P&L by using trading strategies that are programmed into its algorithm, then this agent needs a venue to be able to trade on, right? And with Drift integrating the Solana agent kit, I think we will see more agent innovation on perpetual DEXs, which are decentralized exchanges on Solana, where you can trade futures, so you can go long and short using collateral on your positions and actually engage in trading. So this might help on Solana to get even more trading activity and trading volume on the chain, which will make more money and revenue for the trading apps, and will generate just a more healthy ecosystem. So net positive for the space if we see more agents doing actual shit on chain. So pretty bullish on what's happening here, and I love the Solana agent kit and everything about it. Now, do we have any drama we want to talk about that's happening on Solana right now?
Yeah, I mean, this one, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna start this one off by saying, like, I don't know what the fuck is going on in Validator land, but I do have good friends who are in the Solana research chat groups. I've had a couple of people show me their phones and seen some of the drama that went down. So essentially, everyone knows that Jito is the big man on the block, right? Like, so Jito is the biggest validator on Solana. Buffalo is obviously leading Jito, and they're I don't know if you remember Edgar from MarginFi, but after he left MarginFi, he left to work on Paladin. He's working on it with another gentleman named Udi. And Buffalo recently, even though I don't understand the technical aspects of it, released an essay on his Substack about how exactly Paladin works and why he thinks it's bad for Solana and like Jito's solutions are better. And in response to this, Udi says like Jito's dirty secret. Buffalo published a hit piece on Paladin tonight. TLDR of the hit piece. Number one, I'm so concerned. Number two, Paladin doesn't pay validators anymore. Number three, reduces MEV tips. And number four, doesn't improve tech, just trying to capture order flow. So it's gotten very, very spicy in validator land. I know that there is some bad blood between some of the participants. And like Udi has been directly calling Buffalo out both online and in the group chats like, hey, if you feel so strongly about this, why don't you debate me? And I've been told by multiple people that the response from Buffalo has to not engage. So at the risk of pissing off Jito, like, I think that's kind of a bitch move, right? Like, you published this piece, and like, and by the way, I want to say that I thought the essay, from what I did understand, the tone was nice. Like, he didn't go out of his way to call Paladin idiots or extractive or any of that. The tone was nice, but it did seem like a little bit of a bitch move to write something negative about a competitor, right? And then your competitor says like, "All right, let's talk about this. Let's have a public debate about it. Let's get a neutral moderator to talk about it." And then to do radio silence, literally not to respond, and then to move on to the next topic. I'm not so sure how I feel about this.
Crypto politics, guys, and it's proper drama, proper crypto drama. But I think that's where we have the public forum on Twitter for, because now people talk about it, we catch it as well, we talk about it, and I think G2 has to respond to it at a certain moment in time. Maybe they even already did something. They'll figure it out. G2 overall is a pretty important piece of tech that we have on Solana, not gonna lie, and we're happy for everything they do for us. So they also allowed to make mistakes, I would say. So I'm just putting myself a little bit on their side here. It was a mistake, that's for sure. So let's hope they will do correct politics.
Another thing too is like, and look, if Buffalo called, I mean, he's not going to call me. I don't matter, right? But like, but if he were to call me tomorrow, and he's like, "You don't know anything about the validated world. Shut the fuck up." I'd be like, "Yeah, man, you're right." I do know what it's like to like be poked, and then basically stand your ground, and then they go, "Just kidding, bro." I know what that feels like. I don't have to understand anything about the validated world to understand what the optics of that feels like. And I'm not a fan. I think that if you're gonna go so far as to point out the negatives about a competitor, and then your competitor is challenging you and saying like, "Hey, let's have like a public discussion about this," I feel like you have an obligation to engage. Otherwise, like, you shouldn't have wrote the thing in the first place. Like, these are all my own personal opinions, have nothing to do with the tech, have nothing to do with how validators work, have nothing to do whether who's actually right or wrong in this. It's just kind of like, there is a responsibility when you say something publicly about a competitor, and if they press back, then you should engage in good faith, right? Like, what are we doing here? Aren't we all in the same team? Maybe we're not, but I would hope that we are.
I think it's an interesting topic that needs further investigation and a deeper dive as well into it. So if here are listeners to the show that are interested in the validator world, then please let us know in the comment section on YouTube, X, and the live stream right now that you're interested in validator talk. Then we will bring up someone that has actual deep knowledge about the space into the show. We will get a guest for that, and we make sure that we do a bit of a deep dive. What is Solana validator world like? Why do we need to stake? How does it work? What are the ins and outs of the politics as well? And why is it important? And who are the major players kind of calling the shots here? I think we should cover this in a dedicated episode if people are interested in it. So let us know in the comment section if you want to get more validator talk. Until then, I think I have one more drama thing out of my universe that just popped into my mind, that I wanna use the platform we have here to talk about this a little bit and get your opinion on it,
I'm so excited for this. You've been like teasing this before we got on the call. You're like, "Dude, there's like a lot of stuff going on right now." Where are you right now?
Okay. So I'm in Bali.
Okay.
It's Solana Flow, Solana Temple. That is a event that is organized by the Solana Flow team, which are a few individuals that came with very good intentions to pull off a co-working and co-living experience similar to startup villages that happen sometimes in the Solana ecosystem in several cities, similar to Dubai Founders Villa, where we met, that we already saw 2 times happening last year. So there's a lot of these events going on. And Solana Flow, or Solana Temple is the actual name of it, is another one of these events here in Bali. So it's a 1-month retreat that combines wellness, well-being with hustling. Basically, that's the whole idea of it. And there's a bit of a backstory here that people on Twitter actually didn't see properly. And I think it's fun to talk about it here in the pod, and just for letting people know what's happening under the hood here at Solana Flow. I don't want to do a deep dive into the topic, but basically here's what happened. The other day, there was I think more than a week ago, I went to breakfast with my girlfriend outside of our resort. We have a full resort where there's 80 founders locked into the resort right now. We all have our villas. We have a co-working space, a gym, everything in the resort. We went outside to grab breakfast just in front of the place, and we had no idea what's going on, because when we went outside, there was literally an army, of Indonesian police officers and army folks that are gathered literally in a huge flock of people around some employees from the resort. And they were aggressive. They were shouting things. They were actually grabbing one of the employees, dragging him away from the resort physically. And we were we got a little scared. We were like, okay, what's happening? We're just tourists. We just walked through it, grab our breakfast. But that's when it started. And here's what happened. There was a dispute between the owners of the resort, nothing to do with Flow Bali, right? It's the resort that we're staying in. And the owners, 3 owners of the resort, are actually co-owning the whole place. One of them, a guy with a German citizenship, actually, funny enough, and he decided to build some villas on property inside of the resort that is cultural landmarks and rice fields and stuff where you're not supposed to build on. It's it's illegal to build on that on a piece of land. Here's my estimation of what happened. They paid the government off. Back when they built it, that's how it works here in Indonesia. They paid it off to build the resort on top of these fucking rice fields. Everything was good. Government changed recently, new government in place, and they were like, what the fuck happened there? We don't think that's good. Either we get more money, I don't know if that really happened, but that's my assumption here. Either we get more money or we're going to lock this place down. And they locked the place down. They actually put a tape in front of the entrance. We're in there, we're living in there. They put a tape in front of the entrance. It's still there right now, and we have to walk into a back door, and the place is officially closed. This retreat center is officially closed. Army is patrolling on site sometimes, and we're sitting on our laptops just working. The gym was closed down. Sometimes when we're in the gym, they make a call and they say, guys, please get out of the gym right now. There's army coming. You're not allowed to be in here because officially it's closed. So everything that's happening on site there right now, it's a bit sketchy, it's a bit weird. And again, it's not the fault of the Flow Bali team. They're trying to handle this very, very responsibly, but it was a huge fuck up. And these things can happen. If you, it's a business risk that you take as an organizer of such a big event. You're bringing more than 80 founders into a venue. And if the venue is not, properly ready for so many people, which was the case, unfortunately, then these things can happen. So we had people leaving early because they were scared of the police. We had people complaining, asking for refunds. So a lot of stuff that went down.
Yeah,
it can happen. Everything is good. No one got arrested from us. We're all happy here. We're doing our workshops. We're living our life. We're working. But it is a bit of a funny story that I just wanted to share with people who want some drama and want to hear what's happening behind the curtains. But yeah, big shout out to everyone who's organizing this event, because they handled it in a pretty responsible way, I would say.
I think the only crazier story at a Solana event, there's two of them, right? Is like, well, obviously FTX crashing in 2022. It's probably that takes the cake. That's like number one, right? That's like Armageddon for all Solana founders. Second is the floods in Dubai last year, or that was,
yeah, we have so many stories,
horrible. And then now this one's, I've never heard something like this before, where you're an organizer, you bring 80 founders, you book a venue, right? And then the venue has beef with the military. Like, I'm not so sure. What are you going to do? Send a question? Like, do you have a questionnaire? And when one of the questions is like, do you have any outstanding debts to your local government where they might want more money? Like, I don't know. How do you test for that? How do you check for that? That's kind of impossible. That just seems like a really fucked situation.
Admittedly, the place is officially closed since more than a year. So that it is known that there's something going on, but we were able to book.
Yeah.
So, and it was pretty cheap. For the organizers, they were like, it's a beautiful resort. We have everything there, right? Yeah. But one day the army showed up, and then the first restaurant inside the resort closed, the gym closed, the spa closed, army starts patrolling, and everything goes to shit, right? And now it's slowly returning. People are coming back. The restaurant opened partially again. The house cleaning service is coming again to clean our places and take the trash, and all the infrastructure is returning slowly. But it was, for a few days, it was questionable, and people were like, do we need to move 80 people to a new resort?
Sure.
And the organizers literally went on 2 days just traveling from one resort to another one, asking for places and prices and rooms. It's an impossible task to do. So now we covered some of these spicy talk. There's actually some other events going on Solana as well, and I want to just give a quick shout out as well to Mountain DAO. Mountain DAO is going down in the US, and Mountain DAO is the OG, I think. They've been around for so long. The first Mountain DAO was one of the, if not the first Solana community event, a big co-working experience with 300 builders assembling in the US and engaging in dev workshops and co-working and so on. And yeah, it's the 4th year of Mountain DAO. They call it a startup summit that has accelerated thousands of Solana's most ambitious builders. And yeah, the 7th iteration of it is now going on since the 1st of February until the 28th of February. So February, big month for Mountain DAO. And I see a few of my friends in the Solana ecosystem already traveling to Mountain DAO. and making sure to accelerate their startups. So yeah, bullish on Mountain DAO. Pretty cool event. I would love to be there, but unfortunately, it's on the other side of the world.
I mean, almost everyone I know is going. Probably with the exception of us. Yeah, even a lot of the Asian teams are making their way out there. So I am a little bummed. Would love to go, but it is on the other side of the world. And I hope everyone in Mountain DAO has a fun time. Enjoy your hot cocoa and your skiing. Do you like snow sports, by the way?
Not too much, I'm not a big guy. I never, my parents never sent me to ski resorts when I was young, so I never learned it properly. I was there one time in a resort. It's not really my world, but I'm open for anything in life, so I'd definitely be there and have fun as well, and fall 20 times on the mountain, probably, because I have no idea how to ski.
Yeah.
Do you ski?
No, fuck no. I really do not like snow sports, but I was joking around. I was like, hey man, if you guys got golf, I'll go.
Golf and Mountain DAO?
Well, no, they do. Like Utah has some great golf courses. Yeah. Salt Lake City's a beautiful town, I heard, with plenty of posh folks who like to golf. A lot of retirees over there. There is a program run by Super Team Japan. The lead of Super Team Japan is Hisashi-san, as well as a couple of other guys, Hacks and etc. But Hisashi is running a 2-week program in a province called Nagamoto, or no, Nagano. I just made a bunch of Japanese sounds. That was fucking racist. Nagamoto is not a place.
Is it the winter arc?
Yeah. So there's a 2-week program where builders can live and work in Japan for 2 weeks, and they learn how to submit to Coliseum. It's most useful probably for Japanese teams that don't speak English. However, Hisashi has made it very clear, not only to me, but other people who will be going, that he really, really wants English speakers to come to understand what it's like to work in Japan. He'd love for people non-Japanese to join Super Team Japan.
So much things going on Solana. That's crazy. I can't clone myself. I want to go to all of these, but that's definitely a cool one. I'd love to go. I think next up we have a few events actually on the agenda for Solana. We have the APEC Summit later in the year. It's in June, if I remember correctly. APEC Summit is going to be in Vietnam. And before of that, we have the Solana Crossroads coming up. We're going to cover that when we're closer to it in Istanbul. We also have the Japan event, Winter Arc, going on in March. And there's a big conference, also not Solana specific, but now in Hong Kong, right? It's coming up in this month.
On Consensus.
The 18th of February. Consensus. Yeah. So I actually booked my flights today. I will head over there just for a week.
I'll see you.
To Oh, nice. I see it too. Yeah, cool.
Nice.
I don't know.
We'll do another episode recording. This is fucking awesome. I mean, whenever I get to see Simon in person, I'm just happy. I'm just like, oh, fuck.
I just decided spontaneously because there's a lot of people going, and I wanna mingle a bit with some other builders as well, not only Solana ones. And I think it's just a good kind of networking event because everyone is there, right?
Yeah.
From the crypto space, not only Solana builders. But if you have any Solana events, any Solana specific side events, shoot them over to me and count me in.
Oh yeah.
Because definitely. I'll join. I do the same when I do my research.
I also want to give a very quick shout out to the LATAM Central America region. They're doing their first conference there, Solana conference. I think it's on February 8th. Nice. So it should be in 5 days time. Obviously we won't be able to make it. And it's probably going to be mostly Spanish speaking, but that's great though. I'm glad that Solana. It's kind of ridiculous it's taken this long to have a proper conference there, but I understand security and logistics and kind of crypto. Might want to be a little careful with that over in that part of the world. But our good friend Farhaj from Dubai ran a very successful Solana economic zone in Buenos Aires in Argentina. So obviously there are moves being made in LATAM. So the super teams in South America are fucking cracked. I mean, they're really, really on it. But yeah, they're having I think it's called the Apex Summit in 5 days. So congratulations, to our Spanish speaking friends. Do you want to give non-financial financial advice?
For sure, always.
Not financial advice. I think that we're going to see a recovery and then followed by all-time highs of DeFi protocol tokens. So examples of this would be Drift, Camino, Jupiter, Solid, like any of these tokens. I'm being serious because like, and I actually do want to talk about this with you later, Simon. Is like, what are you trying to do in the kind of the AI agent space, right? Specifically as it pertains to our identity. I'm not here to show you a project, but like, let me just be very clear about something. All these AI agents have to and like I'm not the one who came up with this thesis. I've been reading this online over and over and over again. But all of these AI agents have to interact with a protocol, right? And so you're going to see thousands, if not millions, of functioning agents that are interacting with the protocols. And so I think that's where all the capital is going to flow. And quite frankly, with 80,000 tokens being released every single day, people I think are going to want to gravitate towards brands that they trust and that they remember and have been around for a very long time. Like the memes are, it's not a losing game, but it's always kind of decreasing. You're fighting for attention. Whereas like the DeFi protocols have fundamentals. They have revenue share. They have buyback and burn. They have something that's rooted in reality.
100%. I couldn't agree more. And I read the thesis several times by big researchers like DeFi Ignaz is talking about it a lot as well. Shout out to the channel on X as well, DeFi Ignaz. And he's been calling this for like weeks now, where he says we'll see much more capital cycling away from speculative assets that are highly speculative, memes and also agent tokens without any substance, into tokens with long-term view. And when I say that, I mean companies. That's actually a bottom line. It's just companies that are on the path to generate revenue and profits and solving real world problems, and building the next era of the internet. And that's what we're here for. That's what builders are here for. And I think it's a much healthier investment environment as well if you want to do these investments. And we have seen the middle, I call it the middle of the market, which is exactly that, the infrastructure projects and projects that are building not only infrastructure but also consumer applications with actual companies around them. That's the middle of the market, and we haven't seen them performing really well in the past 12 to 24 months. While Bitcoin soared, right? Or even Solana soared, or even some meme coins soared that are 10K market cap, and then they just explode and then they go into nirvana and never return. So those guys, we have those on the spectrum, but the middle of the market hasn't seen their glory time. And I think that's returning at a point, especially once the capital flows away from those highly speculative assets into more actual substance. So I'm bullish on that as well.
I have a question for Simon. Thank you, teacher. But like, no,
what's on your mind?
My genuine question for you is, I've been seeing this graph getting shared around about how there's been a true decoupling between the alts and Bitcoin. Like in the past, like, Bitcoin would lead and then the alts would shortly follow. But really what you've seen in the cycle so far over the last few months is like Bitcoin has pumped and the rest of the market has benefited to a degree, but like not at all like pumping at the same level. It's not correlated at all. It's literally started to decouple in terms of the overall market cap and price action. So I'm just curious, like, what's your read on this? Like, why is this happening? Why is it so different this cycle? Why does it feel harder?
I think there's a set of variables that play into this narrative and into this reasoning. And one of the biggest reasons for it is traders and investors' psychology. I think we've been burned too many times. And the ICO times from 2017, that those times are gone. We can't repeat that anymore, because back then you put out a promise and you went into millions and billions and very quickly, right? Companies in the ICO times back then, 2017, 2018, they raised millions of dollars, in a blink of a time, just with a white paper, just with a promise. But traders and investors are fed up with promises. I think that's one of the biggest reasons what it is. We don't want promises anymore. We want to see actual shit being done, and we want to see founders that also walk the talk and do what they promised initially. So, and that's what, if you're a founder and you're kind of getting that, then start acting accordingly, right? You still need to promise things by talking about future features and future product releases and so on, but then release the fuck out of them and launch your token, launch your product, launch the features, even if they're a bit buggy, even if you're delayed by 1 or 2 hours, even if you can't keep the promise, at least deliver something. Because what we've seen too much in the past is promises being made and then nothing being delivered. I think that's worse than doing the startup 101, which is fail fucking fast, like and then learn from it and then get better out of it and progress out of it. So we just need to embrace again the Y Combinator startup playbook that's been working for 2 decades. And in crypto right now, we just burned the investors and traders. That's why they're kind of were scared, and that's why you see the divergence, because they're going back to the ones that are outperforming everything, which is Bitcoin, Solana, not Ethereum, but like it's probably just Bitcoin and Solana, and those are the ones that are actually performing well. And all the other L2s and L1 tokens and project tokens and DeFi tokens and so on, they're having a hard time. But where I see a lot of potential is exactly in that combination. Pick the right chain, Solana, and then look at the projects that actually deliver something, give examples, right? Like the big ones, like Camino, right? Or Jupiter, those guys are actually doing something. They're making revenue. They're pushing for it. They're obviously a bit later stage. You can't expect any more 10x, 20x, 30x probably out of these tokens, but they're good, seed investments if you want to consider that as a startup investor. And then you have earlier projects like my project, Solana ID, other builders like the DeFi projects that are emerging that I love, Adrostea Finance, NX Finance, all these kind of yield looping, that's innovative, new DeFi shit coming out. That stuff is cool. And it's still small cap, low valuation, low FTV, but builders deliver there, right? So I think there's a lot of alpha still in the market, a lot of potential to invest in, but it takes some time for the psychology of the investor to, understand that again, get more comfy with these plays, and get away from all the shit coins.
Take a deep breath. If you're making shitty decisions, just stop trading for a couple of days. Stop looking at the charts, touch grass. If you're in a position, consider getting out. Just get out and relax a little bit. Maybe not everyone.
I mean, if you're holding spot, if you're holding spot, then maybe stay in, right? And or right now I wouldn't get out. But hold your spots right now, or accumulate a few more. But like be careful with the meme shit and the leverage.
Well, I'm just saying that if you're full port memes right now, I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Maybe cut tail.
Let's wrap it up for today. Soul Brothers EP number 14. Let's call it a day here. Thanks everyone for tuning in. As always, I hope you got some alpha as usual, and we will see you next week again when it's time for the next EP with the Soul Brothers. Stay tuned for whatever is happening in the markets, because a lot is happening on Solana as usual, and our mission is to keep you up to date, and we'll do exactly that. So, thank you as always for being my co-host, and thank you everyone for tuning in again, and see you at the next one.
See ya.